Live from around the world from LinkedIn. It's the new Lean LinkedIn Live. Say that 5 times fast. And now your host, Mark Graban.
Well, thank you, Elisabeth. Thank you very much. We have a lot to get to. It's nice to have you here. Welcome to our live stream on visual workplaces, visual management, mistake proofing, lean management, and more. I am your host. My name is Mark Graban, an author, speaker, and consultant. I'm also a senior advisor with KaiNexus. So we are live on LinkedIn around the world with no delay. It is 1:01 p.m. in Cincinnati. So let's say hi first, one of our 2 co-hosts today, Elisabeth Swan, author of the book Picture Yourself a Leader. She was with me when we celebrated the first birthday of my latest book, The Mistakes That Make Us, back in June here on LinkedIn. So Elisabeth, how are you today?
I am awesome, Mark. I am awesome. And I am mindful of the cup you sent me a while back, Elisabeth Swan Ships, and that we are live. We're shipping, Mark.
Yes. We ship a book at some point. We ship software sometimes. Well, not sometimes, but we decide to at some point you have to ship. And today we are shipping our live stream. Elisabeth, at KaiNexus, we love to give shout outs to people. And when we do team meetings and recognize people, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, just even to say hello to here today?
Yes, I want to give a shout out to all of our surprise guests, people who generously agreed to come join and share some wisdom today. I am shouting out, and you will soon find out who they are.
All right. And I want to shout out any of my colleagues, anyone from the team at KaiNexus who's here. Shout out to any of our software customers who have tuned in today. As you might have seen in the intro video, I'm in Cincinnati. I wish it was as sunny as that video portrayed. We'd love to hear where all of you are attending from today. We've got some people saying hello in the LinkedIn chat. We'd love if you just want to put in there, say hi and what your location is. Joining us from Dallas, where it is not as dark as the video that we had suggested. I want to introduce our other co-host today, Karen Martin from TKMG and TKMG Academy, author of so many great books, including Clarity First. So Karen, she's got the book there. Karen,
I stole from Elisabeth.
Welcome to the broadcast. I'm going to hold up my book here.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I got 3. What?
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, Karen?
Not any one person. I want to shout out to the improvement community and leadership community that are passionate about mistake proofing, using visuals to clarify, and just everyone who's here today. So welcome, and we're going to have fun.
Okay, we've got people here from India, Indianapolis, Paris, Tennessee, not Paris, France, Dallas, Michigan, South Florida, Washington, Lexington, Kentucky, not too far down the road from me, Nottingham, which I assume is UK, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Chicago. We've got people here from all over the place, Israel, St. Louis. Well, great, Glasgow. Well, welcome everyone here today. I think we're going to have a fun format. We have a number of special guests popping in. Elisabeth will share more about that and the different segments. We're going to be giving away prizes today through an interactive quiz feature. So we're thinking of this as, a part talk show, part game show. You can scan the QR code that you see on screen. And then I also want to share my screen, and there'll be some other instructions. We're going to do 6 different quizzes along the way. We kind of wanted to randomly give away prizes, and this seemed to be maybe the best way to do so.
Yeah, we're going to do a few quizzes through the live stream today. As Mark mentioned, give away the prizes. One of them, signed copies of the books from all 3 of us. That's 3 sets, 3 books each to 3 lucky winners. And Aside from those books, we're going to give some free courses courtesy of Karen on TKMG Academy. One winner gets my visual workplace course. One winner gets Mark's mistake proofing course, and one winner gets to choose one of Karen's courses or any course of their choice from TKMG Academy. And again, to get this teed up on your smartphone, scan the QR code on the screen, wait for the quizzes to start. We'll announce one winner after each round of questions. So to enter the contest, you have to identify yourself in Mentimeter with your full name, right? Because we got to follow up with you if you won. So if you use an avatar, you can't win.
We can't figure out who Anonymous Panda is if that's how the avatar comes up.
Yes, Curious Giraffe doesn't work, but yeah. So yeah, avatars, which are visuals, means that we've got some visuals for you.
Well, first, actually, speaking of Karen's books, we're going to do our first quiz.
Ooh.
So I'm going to, again, bring up these instructions. I see some people hitting the thumbs up, which is a good indication that it's working. So the winner, whoever is in the lead after this first question, and like a lot of trivia, you get points for getting the correct answer quickly. So have your phone or device ready for when this pops up. The prize for the winner at this point is going to be the opportunity to choose a free TKMG course, and I hope you'll choose one of Karen's courses because don't make her feel bad. You don't have to announce.
No,
you don't have to announce to everybody.
No, they get anything. It's their choice.
All right, their choice. So I am going to advance it. Question 1. It says we have 49 players ready.
That's a visual cacophony.
50. All right, so then hopefully we have real names with the avatars. 52 people. Whoops, the leaderboard. Okay, whoops, wait. Oh, I made a mistake.
What?
All right, I think I need to.
What? A mistake?
What? I need to hit enter to start quiz. Do not. Okay, here we go. My mistake. Answer fast to get more points. Which of these is not a book by Karen Martin? Look at your device to answer. Clarity first, value stream mapping, the outstanding organization, or sustaining success. We have 7 more seconds to answer. I did not stage an intentional mistake. That's not the theme of today's session. All right, so 22 of you got the correct answer that Karen has not written a book called Sustaining Success. That's not a criticism. It's just a fact.
Not yet. Not yet.
We had someone who said Mentimeter didn't give me time to enter in my name. Well, we will figure this out. Let's see the quiz leaderboard. Amita Sherwood.
Oh, Amita.
Now, Amita is a faculty member for TKMG. She already has access to the courses, right? So I'm gonna call an audible and name Steve Pereira as the winner of the first.
Steve!
Yay, Steve!
The first one, and Steve will be ineligible for future ones. You can keep playing for bragging rights. Amita will be eligible for future prizes. How's that?
Good deal.
Okay. So with that, great job with the quiz, Elisabeth. Let me turn things back over to you.
And Steve, Amita's course is project management, so you might want to take that one.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back into the topic of visuals, hey Mark, want to share a visual, good, bad, or indifferent? What you got?
Yeah, I've got 2 here that are pretty quick and I think are pretty funny. We'll talk. So here, this is taken somewhere. Please be aware, chair is broken. I mean, I think that seemed pretty obvious, and sadly, from the looks of the paper, the chair had been broken for a while instead of getting repaired. And then the one on the right here, from a coffee shop. Don't forget to take your card. Now that's one reason I love the tap to pay with credit card or phone, because it never leaves your hand. So maybe that's a form of process improvement or mistake proofing. But one of my favorite themes, maybe we'll get to talk about today, is sometimes visuals aren't the best problem solving. So there are times when visuals are necessary and helpful, but sometimes they, I don't know, sometimes they're a little funny.
They can complicate things.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Well, thank you for that, Mark. And yeah, the sad broken chair. Karen, what you got?
I got a real sign from Santa Monica that is a little confusing. So here we go.
Do you may bring that up for you?
You can.
Okay.
I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. There we go. So this is
Oh
this is a real parking sign in Santa Monica, California that I ran into. Didn't. I finally found an empty spot after I had moved there the first time. And then I all of a sudden realized, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can't park here. And I literally never did figure out, based on the time I was there, whether I could or couldn't. So I left because they have really high fines.
1 o'clock p.m. No, so I guess no parking applies because it's not 2 o'clock yet.
Wait, it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Yes, but it's 1 o'clock. So I guess the no parking on Wednesday is 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
But are you in a commercial vehicle? You could park.
But morning. Oh gosh.
There's a comment they kept here. Packing onto that until it went into the grass.
Exactly.
Well, so there's a comment in the chat. Matthew Taylor says, I once saw an instant boiling water dispenser in a kitchen that had a sign on it that said, "This is not a hand soap dispenser."
Ooh.
And I have a friend at our kitchen. We have a instant hot dispenser. And one day he mistakenly assumed it was for soap and thankfully did not burn himself. He got away quick enough.
Yeah. That's harsh.
Well, that's a beaut, Karen. I'm a huge fan of that one. And then I'll just share, since Mark just brought up.
And while you're bringing that up, we had another comment from somebody who says, Santa Monica is my hometown. This is real. Not that. How did you care?
It's by Whole Foods. It's right next to Whole Foods.
Karen did not make that up. Well, I went back to my kitchen for mine. And this was an invention by my husband, who I will just say my career, his career, miles apart. He once asked me, what's PowerPoint? So we are very distinct paths in our life. But he created, Mark, can you share mine?
Yeah.
He created this, and it's two things about this. One, if you see a knife missing, I think there's 2 or 3 in this picture that are missing, then I'm immediately, my instincts are, okay, go around the kitchen, find where the knife is and clean that and put it back in there. But the other thing initially, when he created, he got a new router. That's what led to the creation of the knife drawer. But not all my knives made the cut, and that was at this point it's an intentional pun. But I was a little insulted at first until I totally appreciated the knife drawer. It's just, it's kitchen magic. Anyway, that's mine. 3 different entrees into the visual pantheon. Good, bad, and
kind of 5S, and it looks useful. First, I'm going to say, Elisabeth, and this applies to all. I think no one cares if your pun was intended or not.
Well, it's true. Nobody cares. That's the message I'm getting, Mark. Thank you for that. Nobody cares.
I mean, we like the pun. Just own the pun.
I like the pun.
I didn't mean for that to be being feedback.
No, I got the message, Mark. I'm like ship, but nobody cares.
Oh, shit. This picture, I mean, that's a lot of skill involved in creating that. I'm trying to remember what setting it was. There was a workplace that had shadow boards, and they had put photos of the items, and then, like, at a glance, sometimes it was hard to tell if the item was there or just the photo.
It
was almost a little too clever.
Yeah, that's complication. That is lack of clarity first.
So first things first, we've got our first quiz out of the way. We're going to have our different segments here. Elisabeth is going to take the lead on. So about 4 segments of, we think, 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
each with a special guest who will be joining us on the panel. So Elisabeth, if you would, and since you've taught this course on visuals in visual workplaces for TKMG Academy, I watched this yesterday. Tell us about the 4 types of visuals, since those are the 4 segments.
Absolutely, Mark, and congratulations on your certificate. Apparently you got an A, so that was good to know. So yeah, as Mark mentioned, there's 4 types of visuals, and they answer 4 questions, 4 different questions. And the goal is to answer these questions with visuals before they get asked. So type 1 visuals identify, they answer the question, what is this? You know, knowing what things are builds confidence in employees, workers. And these and all visuals help with mistake proofing. Type 2 visuals inform, they answer the question, how are we doing? Helps people know where to focus using things like huddle boards, could be physical, could be online. Type 3 visuals instruct, they answer the question, how should it be done? That reduces the need for training. I always think about, did anyone ever tell you how to use a drive-through, right? These visuals constitute mistake proofing for employees and customers. And then type 4 visuals plan. They answer the question, what's next? So those connect us to our vision, to our goals. So when people are unclear or the workplace is not properly mistake proofed or giving good visuals, people do one of 2 things. They ask somebody, right, which wastes people time because it probably happens multiple times a day, multiple times an hour, you name it, or they guess. Maybe they guess right, maybe they guess wrong. And if they guess wrong, that leads to errors, right? And Mark was mentioning that if you tell people to be careful, right, you inform them about risk, that isn't necessarily effective, right? And visuals are
the best we
powerful.
can do, maybe, but it's certainly not the best mistake proofing.
Yeah, we could
because
do
if they
better.
knew what was being careful, they would have done it already. So it's almost a little insulting, actually, to tell people to be careful.
Yeah, it's and lazy, but so visuals. Visuals, one of the reasons they're powerful, that vision takes up like half our brain's resources, right? They're integral to reducing errors. So we're going to start our conversation with the type 1 visuals, right? The ones that identify, they answer the question, what is this? So that means we're going to bring in our first guest surprise panelist, which is the amazing Sally Toister. Bring it on, Sally.
There she is.
Hello.
Hey, Sally.
Hi,
So-
how are y'all doing? Oh,
Hey,
and
hey.
look, I have my
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great mug. Where are you joining us
There
from,
you go.
Sally?
I'm in San Diego.
San Diego. Anyone you want to give a shout out to while we're giving shout outs?
I'll give a shout out to all 3 of you for leading this today and hosting on this beautiful topic. I love visual management. It's one of my favorite topics.
Well, for folks who have not had the pleasure of meeting you, Sally, I just want to give you a little background on Sally. She's a retired operations executive from the hospitality industry. And she's currently serving as vice chair on the board of directors for Kitchens for Good, an awesome San Diego institution with Kitchens. She works alongside a team of dedicated professionals, volunteers, supporting that nonprofit's organization's mission to transform lives through culinary arts. And boy, do they do that, which is amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sally. And so I thought of you in terms of that first question, because I felt like I've worked in the hospitality industry sometimes with you, and just realizing how much visuals make a huge difference. So just wanted to hear your take.
Yes, we rely on visuals a lot in the hospitality industry. And it's interesting because you think about all of the things that are required to bring what's needed for a guest experience in a hotel. And so much happens in back of house very quickly to put together a banquet operation or to turn a room so that a guest has a room available when they want it at time of check-in. Not every guest checks out on time, and everybody wants a room early to check in early. So things have to be very efficient, and you have to be able to find those supplies quickly and to be able to turn a room quickly. And same with the banquet setup. Everybody comes out of breaks. And when you're at a conference, people come out of breaks. They want their banquets set up correctly. Those rooms have to be turned and set up quickly. So visuals are very important in hospitality to make sure that turn happens accurately, efficiently, and safely. So that we rely on them very heavily in hospitality.
So have you got any favorite examples of visuals, either good, bad, side of the coin?
Sure. So I can, and Mark, if you can pull one up, I'll show you, speaking of back of house, I can show you if you pull up a picture here. So that's a closet. I would like to say that wasn't real, but it was.
I've seen hospital supply rooms.
Yeah.
So this has, as you can see, a lot of varied supplies in here. All of it might be required for banquets. But for this one, an associate would actually coming in to find his vest for to be able to look in uniform to serve guests properly and in uniform.
Planters, chairs, vests, and assorted Christmas bulbs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, seasonal items that we were in April looking for his vest. Realized that there was a lot of unnecessary items in here, obviously, and very unsafe. When you realize, I'll show you exactly where his vests were. So we actually then looked at everything, and as typical, once we started pulling everything out, these actually were the only items that were needed in this space.
Oh, wow.
What was available, and everything else was either seasonal or not needed. Wow. But when something looks as nice and clean as this, it commonly becomes a place to store everything else. So this was something that we worked on to help make sure the space was safe and could be more efficient. Those chairs are actually used for panels, for panelists when we're setting up the stage.
And you can find your vest.
And you can find your vest. Really easily roll the chairs out, set up a panel, and get your vest on and serve. And then we ended up, it's obviously a bigger space than that's needed for this. So we able to find a smaller space for certain items and then reuse this space for other items. So but this is an example of one area that we used for it.
I remember when I first started working with hotels, like, I don't know, in 2000. And I was this big eye opener of like, oh, the hotel and the lobby and everything looks so pristine. But man, as soon as you get into the back of the house, it just cuts loose. Like, whoa.
Exactly. I'll show you. Let me flip through here. I'll show you, speaking of the back of the house, this is in our maintenance area. Here's another example. And you think about, from a guest safety standpoint, is another area. Things happen in the front of the house. Again, in that banquets, we're running around, coffee gets spilled, breaks happen, glasses get dropped, glass happens. It's very difficult to find what would be needed to go take care of cleaning up the floors. And again, safety was a huge component in the hotels. I know you're familiar with what was then the Be Safe program to make sure everybody responded very quickly to safety incidents in hotels for our associates and for our guests. And we realized that we were not meeting our goal of responding to spills and slip and trip opportunities as timely as we needed. And so again, we identified areas of what was needed. Yes, there was a cleaning cart in that pile that we found. And so now it's very easy. It was very easy for them to find, roll in, find the supplies they needed, and very easily see what was already out and being used and go and locate it. So
nice one.
Yeah.
So nice one, Sally.
Beautiful.
I love how it's, it's about helping people be more effective. It's not about just looking nice and well organized, but the way that connects to people being able to do their job and serve the customers. That's awesome.
Yes. And I'll share one other one with you, because speaking of being able to do their jobs and be effective, we also took that into offices.
Oh, was that your office, Sally?
No. But it was an office in our building, and we had received feedback that it was difficult for associates, felt uncomfortable to go in and get help and feedback and work with this individual, and felt it intimidating and uncomfortable because this was the workspace in which they had to go and gather support to do business and support our customers. And so we educated around efficiency, the opportunity here for streamlining, and she understood. And voila.
Voila.
There is actually a space now for people to come in and work in the office and get things done and book business.
I'm guessing the countermeasure was not just going and throwing
No.
everything.
No, it was not. It was not. And actually, if you look, you'll see on the shelves, things changed up on the top on the shelves, and more things came in, and items actually came out underneath from the cabinets, and files were.
That's awesome.
Yes. So
This
you
is
see,
great.
there's actually here, there was, I'm not sure what was in
I love it.
those trays over there, but then we instituted a filing system that would help.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
You know what I find interesting about office organization is that a lot of times people will say, well, I know where everything is. And one of the things that we often will say back to them is, yeah, but what if someone else has to suddenly come in and do your work? Like you won the lottery and went to Tahiti, or suddenly ill for a week or whatever. It's not really respectful for the people that might want to come in that have no clue or anything. It's like looking for your vest, you know.
right.
It's like, it's not just for the person, it's for others as well.
Absolutely.
That's a great point.
Those are great. Well, I think so. Elisabeth asked me to play time cop here, so I think we might have to wrap up our segment on type 1 visuals that identify. We want to go ahead and do the second quiz. Elisabeth, or Sally, anything else you wanted to add?
No, Sally, you're awesome. Thanks for coming in and sharing your secrets.
Thanks for having me. Fun stuff. Enjoyed it.
Let's
Good
do
to see
some
you, Sally.
quizzing.
We're going to do the quiz. Oh, here first, I'm going to bring up another picture. When it comes to identify, the one on the left, this was a hospital cafeteria. This can is not for trash. Thank you, management. I'm like, they didn't tell us what it was. I don't remember. I should have taken a picture of what was in there. But sometimes identifying what something is not is maybe not good enough, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so back to the quiz, round 2. Hopefully everyone has their browser tab open, or you can reopen it on your phone or device. I don't know if it'll make you hit refresh, but we're going to bring up, and I know I have to press enter to start quiz this time, not advance slides. So we've got, it says players ready.
People might need to jump back in. They may have jumped out. And they might need to jump back in.
Yeah, but that number's stopped growing. So I'm going to hit enter to start quiz. Oh, no. Okay, we got a few more.
43, 41, 43, 44.
Well, okay.
That is so cool. I love it.
We're trying to figure out how long it takes to get everyone back in. 44, 45. We may have lost a few people, but okay, so here we go.
No, there it is.
To win a set of 3 books from me, Elisabeth, and Karen. Answer fast to get more points. What's the primary goal when establishing a visual workplace? To save money, to answer questions before they're asked, to improve the work output quality, or to create stronger relationships with internal customers? You have another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have 17 people got the answer. Answer questions before they're asked. Before we look at the leaderboard, Elisabeth or Karen, do you want to comment on why you say that's the primary goal?
Elisabeth, I'll let you start, do the honors.
Yeah, this is kind of what your workplace is supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be answering these 4 questions, because when people ask, you either are wasting someone's time asking the question, or you don't feel like you should ask for whatever reason. So you guess, and then that leads to errors and more waste. So it is the kind of the primary first point is that have you answered the questions this workplace would ask?
Yeah. And then that leads to these other benefits that we see on screen.
Yes. Good.
And a lot of people are afraid to ask. I mean, it's that they've gotten beaten down, they've gotten smacked around, whatever it is, because of being curious. And so we have to go with the bias that people will guess, and you don't want them guessing because they may not guess correctly.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I remember Gwendolyn Galsworth, who people may know as an author and expert on things related to visual workplace, visual management. I've heard her say a similar thing, that when you have good visuals, people can get the answer to their question from the workplace instead of having to go talk to somebody else. So I think Gwendolyn would agree. So let's look at the leaderboard as this is going to update, and let's see who got the correct answers this time. I think Lindsay. No.
Yay!
The visual psyched us out. Matt Rye is in the leaderboard after, so he is the winner of quiz number 2.
Go,
so
Matt!
Congratulations!
Yay, Matt! Lindsay, you're really close. You're really close.
Man.
Yeah, last one too.
Keep going, you're right there.
Keep at it, Lindsay. Keep at it, Alyssa. Sally, thank you again for joining us here today. Thanks for your examples and
thanks, Sally,
sharing with us. Whoops! Oh, I hit that a little too soon. She was saying thank you. My bad. My mistake. She's still smiling backstage. I can see her. Sorry. Sorry about that. Elisabeth, let me hand it back over to you.
Counting the number of mistakes we make.
Yeah, don't mess with
At least 2.
Yeah. Don't mess with my relationships, Mark. You have to. Okay, so the next segment, the type 2 question is to instruct. And I would like to introduce our surprise guest for instruct, which is Raghavan Venkatram. Welcome, Raghavan. Come join us.
Wait, did we the inform segment?
Shoot. I apologize.
One mistake for Elisabeth.
Mark had a mistake. I would like to own that would be mine. Karen, you're next up for mistakes. And for this segment, it is the type 2 question, which is to inform. And that will be our surprise guest now, not quite Raghavan, is Brian Hand.
But I don't see Brian here.
You don't see Brian?
Brian!
The magic of live broadcasts.
The magic of live, yeah.
Unless I need to scroll down to see him, I'm going to remove my PowerPoint. Okay. No, I don't think Brian is here.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, one other thing. There's a comment about the leaderboard maybe accumulating the scores and not being individual for that one question.
It is, but we're rewarding people for the highest accumulated score after.
Oh, okay.
Question.
All right, James Brooks. That's the answer.
Yes. So that was sort of by design or kind of based on how Menti works. So do you want to, how important is it to do these in order, Elisabeth? Do we want to go back to, do you want to do segment 3 with Raghavan and see if Brian's able to join us? Yeah,
let's jump in with Raghavan and hopefully we get Brian in. So,
all right, so I will, and Raghavan, can you turn your camera on? He's backstage, but maybe, okay, there he is. And because maybe he was expecting not to be next, but here he is. I'm going to add him. Welcome, Raghavan.
Hey, Raghavan.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So Raghavan is joining us to talk about type 3 visuals. These are visuals that instruct and answer the question, how do we do this? Raghavan is the continuous improvement lead for the North American region of Mandalay International, which I just did a little research. They are a global snack food company, and all I'm going to tell you right now is they make Oreos. So this is a critical organization. Ragavan is well-versed in standardized work, training within industry. He's also the chair of the program development team of the Association for Manufacturing Excellence, known as AME, in the Midwest. It's so great to have you, Ragavan. It's so great to have you. And Mark, what you got?
You're muted.
You're on mute.
That's two more mistakes. I didn't mean to bring that up.
But who's counting?
Yeah,
but
who's
you
counting?
didn't hear me say, "Oh, crud," because I was muted.
So Ragavan, I know that you have kind of done deep dives on standard work, and you've got some incredible insights on standard work itself. And I know that is a real source of those instructional visuals, right? The how do we do this? So I wanted to hear some of your thoughts around how that works.
Okay, can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, good. I think we should take away from the mistake that we thought Liz did. You didn't make a mistake because I did go next, right? So anyways, yes, so I am passionate about standardized work, and I think the system of standardized work is not properly understood in the bigger lean community. And I'm a big fan of Steven Spear's paper on decoding the DNA of the Toyota production system, which talks to the success behind Toyota, why Toyota is, what they are today. And a lot of it is attributed to standard work. So the part that we know for the most part is, yes, standard work is defined in terms of content, sequence, timing, and outcome. Right. But the part that we miss typically is the part about hypothesis testing. So standard work in itself is not rigid. It's not set in stone. The intent of standard work is to facilitate hypothesis testing, and visual workplaces go a long way with helping do that. Right. So I have a short slide deck to walk through my thought process and to share some of my thoughts with you. So Mark, if you can please share my slide, or can I do that? Okay, all right. So that's me. I like to think I'm a people-centric leader, industrial engineer, lean thinker, kata geek, and very enthusiastic about training within industry. So the next slide, please, because I know we're short on time. Okay. Oh, I thought we had the animation on this one. Okay. Anyways, so clarity with visuals is the cornerstone of a effective visual workplace, right? And I want to thank Mark Rosenthal. He is a pioneer in the field of training within industry and in the kata space for basically bringing up this idea of the red poster, green poster. Now, the term itself may not make sense if I just say that, but what it is basically is most companies, when they implement a visual workplace, are in the poster situation. What that means is if you don't have a clear expectation of what good or normal looks like, then your definition of not good or abnormal is subjective and varies depending on who, what, and when things are being looked at. I think that's an amazing thought because, and the visual that comes to mind, again, thanks to William Harvey for this, is, you would have seen the sign on, swimming pools which says no running, right? And if you're someone like me who likes to challenge, I might hop and say I did not break any rules because I was not running, I was hopping, right? So like Mark says, most of our visual communications are aimed at conveying what should not be done and less on what should be done, right? So that is more so the red poster situation where it is subjective and you rely heavily on just science to do the work, and more often than not, they don't, as we saw in the numerous examples that the people who went before me shared. What we want to move towards is the green poster situation, okay? And that is just the opposite. If you do have a clear expectation of what normal looks like, then your definition of abnormal is objective. And the same no matter if me or Liz or Mark or Karen is looking at something, if the definition is clear and objective, we can all point to it and say, yes, this is a problem. And this is what the success of Toyota is built on. So, if you're aware of the Andan system and how it works, right? So basically in Toyota, they have something called pitch lines on the floor, and the markings on the floor are basically set to the standard rate at which the process is expected to operate. So let's say a certain task is supposed to take 30 seconds, and the car is going to keep moving along the line, right? And if I'm at the 32-second mark, and which means the car has crossed the line, and if I'm still having my wrench in the car, that's very clear that I have not met the standard expectation for that process. Actually, there's something in the process that's preventing me from meeting the standard expectation for that process. I take it back. This is about the process, not the person, right? So that is the green poster situation. It's the same thing about a Kanban card. I mean, if you look at a Kanban, and it's very specific on what is expected, what the refill quantity is, where does this go, what is the reorder point, how frequently should you stack this, right? And that is the green poster situation. So the first thing is, yes, help build clarity in your systems. Do not rely on signs, and try to make it clear what normal looks like, right? Why is that important? Like Liz said, good visual workplaces immediately make abnormalities clear. Okay, but why should they make abnormalities clear? Well, if the abnormalities are not clear, then you cannot follow standard work. There's no culture of hypothesis testing. Being able to make abnormalities clear is a prerequisite to hypothesis testing. Okay, so if you're all about standard work, and if you're all about a culture of continuous improvement, and if what's normal is not clear, then a problem is not clear. If a problem's not clear, you can't test no hypothesis. So that's number one. Next slide, please. Okay, so now you got the clarity with the visual piece of it, right? But is that enough? No, it's not, because you need leadership support. So there's different types of visuals, like this graph that I have here, this trend chart with an outliers is one such visual, right? Now imagine two scenarios. You see this outlier that was screaming at this employee, right? To this employee being screamed at, that visual is an adversary. Right? That employee is going to hate that one chart, that visual, because to this employee, it's just pointing out the problems that he or she made. But on the other hand, think about a manager who's supportive of his employee and who's curious about the process. To that employee, the visual, representation is an aid. So you can make the visual, an aid or an adversary / artifact just the way you interpret it and how you interact with your team members about it. I want to share a quick story about my experience in the manufacturing site. So right out of school, I was doing time motion studies at a shop in Texas, and we thought we had the numbers down, the hourly numbers down, and I was walking the shop floor and I saw this employee. He was stashing a few finished products under the table. So I was asking him what he was doing, and he said, well, that he could actually go faster than the process that we thought, the number of pieces that we could produce. And he was stashing these pieces so he could, at the end of the hour, make the numbers look good. Okay. So I wouldn't blame the employee, because the message and because the employee actually had good intent. When I asked him why he did that, you know what he said? He said, well, I might be able to keep up with the pace, but I know the way this company works, you're going to expect that of every single person. And that's not going to be possible, right? Because he was actually standing up for his team, and we were not standing up for anyone, right? We were more focused on the numbers, and he was more focused on the team. To him, that visual board that we put in there was an adversary, not only to him, but also to his team members. So if you have great visual systems, that's awesome. But without leadership support, without the leaders championing the way, it's not going to go too far. Now, I'm sure you've seen numerous instances when you had a great visual tool, be it a Power BI dashboard or, a Kanban system or whatever, right? But what made the difference?
Yeah.
The next slide, please.
Ragavan, I apologize. I just have to interject a little bit because we have a few more segments.
Oh, yeah.
We're in live mode, so we kind of we improvise how this was going to map out. But I feel like you've brought in some unbelievably rich concepts, and it just feels like We're
running out of time.
We're just a little bit tight on time. But I wanted to say thank you so much for bringing in the concepts and for telling us your stories. These are wonderful.
I actually want to also give you props. I had never, in all the years of doing this, really tied together hypothesis testing with standard work. That is like my mind. So thank you. I can't wait to noodle on this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And just one thing, with visual workplace, the messenger is just as important as the message.
Nice.
Good one.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ragavan. So we're going to do our next question. We'll give people a second to get in here. So again, the different types of visuals. Identify, inform, which I think that might be the segment we're going to skip over so that we can get to segment 4 with Deandra. But so we have inform, instruct, as Ragavan talked about, and then next is going to be plan. So we've got people coming back in. I'm going to start. This is question number 3. The winner will get opportunity to view my course on mistake proofing.
Go, Lindsay.
And I need to...
Go, Lisa.
All right. Answer fast to get more points. Which of these was my first book? Because I don't talk about myself in the third person. Healthcare Kaizen, The Mistakes That Make Us. Lean Hospitals, Measures of Success, or Practicing Lean. Which of these was my first book? We'll see if people know. 3, 2, 1. And we have 8 correct answers there. My first book from 2008 was Lean Hospitals. The Mistakes That Make Us is my most recent book. So thank you to everybody who entered. Let's go see the leaderboard. As it moves around, is Lindsay, is it?
And it's gonna shake it up.
Oh,
Lindsay.
wow.
And we don't mean
Alyssa.
We don't mean to play
bridesmaid.
favorites.
They're neck and neck.
Aaron and I, we both know Lindsay, so congratulations. We'll get you the code for that book. And we've got 3 more quiz questions. Hopefully people will be able to stay on. But Elisabeth, let me turn things back to you again.
All right. Thank you, Mark. And this brings us up to type 4 visuals. This is visuals that help you plan and answer the question, what's next? And for this segment, I am incredibly excited to introduce our next surprise guest, Deandra Wardell. Woo! Deandra is CEO of On to the Next One Consulting, which offers exceptional leadership development, training, and consultation services. Her company utilizes a unique 4-step process improvement model, the strategic visioning experience, which empowers leaders to create a clear strategic plan, align priorities, plan effectively, complete tasks, achieve results, and cultivate a sense of belonging. These efforts lead to cultural transformation, increase employee engagement, and client satisfaction ratings. And I can only say, as a client, I did a visioning workshop with Deandra, strategic visioning, and I turned my vision board into my screensaver. So every day I spurred myself on, and I give you the props for that, Deandra. You are awesome.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Great to be on. And cheers to this fabulous panel, especially to Mark. And it has been great observing the mistakes, and because we learn from them. And this is a great learning opportunity. So where should I begin? Let's talk about the visual workplace and the question, what's next? So I want to go back and tie in Ragavan, one of his last points, and Ragavan dropped so many jewels. My glasses a couple of times did this number. I mean, he just totally blew me away. But one of the things he talked about is the importance of leadership support and championing the why. And so I want to use that to tie in and talking about the visual workplace and what's next. So in the work that I do with strategic visioning and developing strategic plans, it begins with a visual workplace. And in both capacities, there is an emphasis on getting clarity. And once you get that clarity, making sure that you have alignment. So with visual workplaces, it's ensuring that processes and priorities are clearly communicated. And with strategic visioning, it provides that visual or that roadmap for the future as you think about what's next. Another way I like to phrase that question, and of course, it comes from practicing the Toyota Kata, wouldn't it be great? Okay, well, we're gonna stick with the what's next question. And the thing about what's next that links the strategic visioning and the visual workplace and strategic planning, it helps to close gaps, the gaps between where we are now and where we aspire to be. And continuous improvement connects all of that. It's so important that we start at current state. We identify ultimately where it is we want to go. We look at what small steps we can take as we progress and iterate towards this vision that we have. And it's also, as it relates to strategic planning, the visual workplace connects to analyze trends, to understand risks, to look at emerging opportunities, and examine data, because all of that helps us to proactively plan those next steps. But from lessons learned and what I've experienced, and particularly working with clients, and I have a visual that I want to share. Elisabeth mentioned the strategic visioning experience, the strategic planning workshops. And when we are working with leaders in developing the strategic plan, of course, it's great to do the SWOT analysis. It's so important to look at historical data. But what's most important is that we start with the vision and we understand the direction. We get that clarity of where we want to go. And it's important that we're guided by the purpose, the mission, and the vision. And leaders need to have clarity on that. I'm sure Karen would agree. Clarity first is important, right? And so I want to share a visual.
Do you want me to bring it up?
It looks, yeah, you can. That'd be great, Mark. Perfect. Okay. So with this visual, I recently had the amazing opportunity to work with a not-for-profit here in Indiana. And what this not-for-profit does is they create and preserve opportunities for affordable housing, neighborhood revitalization, and they foster small business development. In this picture, it's the CEO and the president of the organization. Other members of the leadership team were there. And what they're looking at is their vision. Where is it that they see the organization 10 years from now? And it was hands-on, good old construction paper, crayons, and all that, clarifying the vision. And what ended up happening as a result of that vision and focusing on their mission of connecting people to opportunity, everything that's represented in those pieces of construction paper showed up and were actualized and identified in the strategic plan. And so it is so important in terms of understanding what's next is having that first step, having that visual to clarify where it is we want to go next, and using that as a guide and recognizing that the strategic plan or a vision, it's moving, breathing, a living document. Incorporating continuous improvement and all the things we talk about in the visual workplace is not something static. It's something dynamic that we regularly look at. And as a part of thinking about what's next is breaking down those long-term goals and objectives into short-term steps. And specifically with the strategic plan, looking at how that can be incorporated into the daily work and how it transcends and aligns across the organization. So we did this work. We did this workshop back in the early summer. The strategic plan is documented and is finished. But what's next? We're providing visuals. We're going over everything in the strategic plan with every single team member and showing how that connects to the daily work and how the KPIs and the number of other visuals that we use to track things helps us to understand, are we getting closer to the plan? Are we aligned? And that's so important, as we've talked about with visual workplaces, connecting the people, eliminating the guesswork, and making sure that everybody has a clear visual, not only on the path forward, but how that connects to the purpose.
Nice. That's nice. And I particularly like the arts and crafts element here.
Yeah. And it's so amazing. And that's the thing about it. As we know, visuals in terms of retention are 83% more effective than text. And when you're thinking about something as grand and extraordinary as developing a long-term strategic plan, it is so important that you open up and have that opportunity to really lean into being creative and thinking about the possibility without boundaries. So doing this type of visual activity really helps to really center on bringing that desired state to fruition.
That's beautiful, Deandra. Thank you so much.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Really nice.
Thank you, Deandra. Let me run through the last 3 quiz questions, and then maybe we can see if there are any questions from the audience, and those of us who can stay on past the top of the hour can stay on.
I love it.
All right.
Go
so
for
let me bring that back up. You can stay with us, Deandra, if you like. If you have questions for the other panelists who are still here, we can bring Sally and Ragavan back on. All right. Question 4. This is going to be for another book set from books from Elisabeth, Karen, and myself.
Combo package. Standard work contains examples of which type of visual, of the 4 types of a visual. Does standard work help us identify, instruct, inform, or plan? So those books, again, are Clarity First, Picture Yourself a Leader, The Mistakes That Make Us. You'll get a copy of all 3 of those books via Elisabeth. And we have 13 people with the correct answer. Hooray. Type 2, instruct. And let's check out the leaderboard, and we'll do the last 2 quiz questions. Let's see if I think is Alyssa. I'm going to call that a mistake. Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Way to go, Alyssa. Way to go to finally bring that home.
Elliot. All right. Congratulations. We will follow up with you. Question 5. The winner here will get Elisabeth's course from TKMG Academy on visual workplaces. So here we go. Answer fast to get more points. Elisabeth Swan, if you know her, was previously an accomplished what? Improv performer, figure skater, jazz singer, or archery champion? Was she an Olympic level participant in one of these arts or crafts? Improv performer. 13 people know Elisabeth well enough to know that is the correct answer. And we'll check out the leaderboard. Matt Rye cannot win a second prize, but he's still up there for bragging rights. Lynn Borman. Friend of yours, Elisabeth?
I believe she is a woman in lean.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Lynn. And we got one more question, 6th and final question. The winner here gets another book set, 3 books from Karen, Elisabeth, and myself. So last chance. Answer fast to get more points. Strong visuals and mistake proofing results in which of the following? Better job security, simpler performance evaluations, clearer hierarchy, or increased worker confidence. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have 26 answers so far. 24 people.
Yay.
The correct answer here, increased worker confidence. And we've got one more run at the leaderboard. And again, for anyone still on here, if you've got any questions that you want us to address, we can do that. So
There's Matt, then Alyssa, then Lynn.
Laura Hay. Is it Hay?
Hay. It's a little hidden there, but
it's covered, but I think Hoy.
Laura Hoy. Congratulations. And
Laura.
Big props to Matt Rye, gets the bragging rights. Hopefully nobody was wagering on who the winner would be, but congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and thanks to everybody for playing along.
Well, I just will say I realized we missed, type 2, the inform, so we didn't answer the question, how are we doing? So I hope we were doing okay.
You know what? If anyone wants to stay, I have a great visual for inform. I can show
yeah?
Well, I've got one I'd like to share too.
Okay,
so.
all right.
Awesome.
So we do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So hang on. Present. So screen, window, share. Okay. Is it coming?
I don't see it yet.
It says I'm sharing, but I don't see anything.
Here, let me stop my screen. Maybe that helps you do it. And I'm going to bring Sally and Raghavan back in. At the very least, we can thank them for joining us.
Present.
Hey, guys.
We can all say goodbye and farewell. But is that coming up?
Working yet?
I don't see it yet, Karen.
Yeah, nice job, Matt.
Matt says, thanks for a great and entertaining session.
I did the right window. Let me try it one more time, and then we'll stop. Okay, present. Okay, there's another mistake. Share screen.
Yeah, Alyssa. Well, it's great to have you.
Let me try this. I'm doing a whole screen instead of the window. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, Mark had one.
All right, so I've got one, and I think this is in the category of inform. I've shared this on LinkedIn and I blogged about it, but this was me at the grocery store, Kroger, recently. And I was trying to figure out which register to go to. And this is what I was looking at. And in my Andon trained brain, and thinking in terms of color coding and good, bad, red, green status, my brain jumped to the conclusion, which turned out was an incorrect assumption, that the red number register lanes were closed. That green meant go and red meant stop. And as I got over to one of the lanes and I walked and I looked again and I realized those were just holiday Christmas colors. That lane 11 was closed because its light was off. Now, normally the lights would be just on, white, or off. And that's the inform of, is the register open or not? So I went to one of the green registers. I waited behind somebody, and I noticed the lines in the red ones were shorter. And I asked the cashier real quick. I'm like, I got thrown off. I like the Christmas colors, but at first I thought the red meant the lane was closed. And she laughed at me and said, "Oh, you're not the only one who's thought that." And I asked her, well, would you rather be working on a red lane that maybe doesn't have as many people? And she said, no, I like to keep busy. The day goes faster. Laura Hall is commenting, I would interpret the same thing. So yeah.
I mean,
no real harm done, but
it's kind of interesting. You're messing with a universal color understanding, right?
Right.
Yeah. So look at what the standards are, and find another way to express your holiday wishes.
Yeah.
Oh, Alyssa noticed that the red was all odd numbers and green was even numbers. I didn't even catch that.
No.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anelia commented on different topic for a different live stream. There's much to delve into here with regards to behavioral economics. And then Marcia had a sharp eye. The little screen in the second picture, that's their system for tracking people in line and opening lanes. So yes, there's a visual, and that would fall into the, I think is that the plan segment? Because they're planning staffing, or the inform type of visual. I guess it could fall into either category.
It could be both. I mean, standard work also has a little bit of inform as well as instruct, typically. Mm-hmm. So it could be a little bit of both.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all the comments. I don't see any questions coming in. So I guess we will go ahead and wrap up. But again, want to thank Deandra, Sally, and Raghavan for joining us today. Thank you to Karen and Elisabeth for co-hosting and prepping. I think it was a fun session. So thanks to everyone who played along. We will reach out to you about your prizes. The recording, for those who have asked, is available through LinkedIn. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. If you search Mark Graban visual, would probably bring it up, or go find my channel page. So I want to thank everybody for being part of that. Elisabeth. Sorry.
I also want to just give a shout out to Karen's TKMG Academy. Obviously, we raffled off Mark's course, my course, and then a course of your choosing today. But I would recommend going and checking out. I've just being involved in online training myself for many years. Karen's level of excellence is so high. The production value. I mean, man, just these are great courses that we all had a hand in building, which is
and thank you both. I mean, the collaboration and co-development of the courses is just it's as much learning for me as everybody else that takes our courses. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
So if someone asks you, what do you want for the holidays, you can maybe tell them a TKMG course, of course.
Or you could get Mark Graban's Mistakes That Make Us. Amazon's having a Kindle special for $2.99.
Limited time holiday pricing, $2.99. The Mistakes That Make Us. It's also available in paperback and hardcover options. Elisabeth, you are working on an audio book.
Yeah, I'm booking time right now to get into the studio and create an audio book. And you know who inspired that, Mark? It's the president of KaiNexus, Greg Jacobson.
Yeah.
And I gave him a book and he said, oh, yeah, no, I only listen to books. I said, okay, I'm going to record this thing.
But the book is so beautifully illustrated. Will you be describing the picture?
I'm going to have to go talk to some other illustrators and say, what'd you do? How'd you do it?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that is going to turn out well. And then Karen, on the book news front, tell us about the new or republished ebooks.
Yeah. It's republished. Three of them got republished. One from Productivity Press and two from McGraw-Hill. And they're now in both hardcover and softcover, which I've never had softcover for Clarity First and the Outstanding Organization. And I love the feel of the paper. It's much better paper than the hardcover was. And then the other one is metric space process mapping. And that one was just recently moved over to my own imprint now. So TKMG Press, LLC, and they're all and audio on all of them, and except for metric space process mapping, and also ebook just came out. So got all formats, whatever you want.
Congratulations. So thank you, everyone. Unlike TV, we didn't have to force things to a close at the end. We were winging it a little bit. We had a plan, and I think we did our best rolling with it. So thank you, everybody, for that. And thank you, everyone, for attending. We'll probably Elisabeth, we'll do another LinkedIn Live sometime.
Oh, yeah, Mark. We're doing another one.
It would be good to have some of you back. And there's a lot of things we can do with the format. We could do one where it is, little mini webinars, and there's a lot we can play around with. So thank you, everyone, for sharing your stories and experience today. I guess we'll just all wave and sign off.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.